Yes, guys, welcome to Chasing Green Arrows. We are back and it's a Friday. Dean, this is our penultimate Friday stream of the season.
Oh, it is. And it looks like you're enjoying life, mate. I mean, look at you. Here I am in the spare bedroom, blank background, and there's you living your best life. Tell everyone where you are, mate, and how it's going.
Yeah, I'm in Tuscany on a 2-day trip with my dad, which is lovely. So I'm on the edges of Lucca, which is a nice historic city, an hour from Florence, half an hour from Pisa. So yeah, it's lovely. I did have an even more impressive backdrop, but the gardener's in and he's making a bit of a racket. So unfortunately, really? Do with the nice pergola and the little pond behind me.
Yeah, first world problems that is, mate. Breakfast with the Chasers, says Mark. Yeah, I mean, it does look very nice indeed. Luke says Dean is jealous already. Yeah, I'll get my own back in the summer when I'm in San Diego.
I'm going to see some nice San Diego backdrops in a matter of months. So yeah,
yeah, we'll see how that goes. Thanks for everyone jumping on the chat. Right now, who was first on today? Geddy was first in, says good morning. Then Will jumped in. Stephen, Ashley, Jamie, Luke, John. Hello to everybody that is jumping in right now. I'm sure we'll get a few more as we go along. I've just tweeted to say that we are live. Obviously, we don't normally go live quite as early as this, and I imagine the likes of CH really are going to struggle with this one. G must be about 4 o'clock in the morning for CH.
If CH does pop on, I might say go back to bed. I might say we're not worth the lack of sleep. But maybe not. We are. I mean, we are going to be. We have got a lot to get through in today's show. I'm looking forward to some outcomes based on the press conferences later. I guess a huge press conference for many will be the Ten Hag press conference. Like, will we get an update on Bruno? When I look at Bruno in FPL at the moment, he is highly owned purely because of the fixtures, the fact they've had the double game weeks, and he has been carrying Man United on his back, like 16% owned. He's in, from engaged managers, he's probably in 3 in 10 teams, certainly those that wildcarded in game week 35. But he didn't play against Palace on Monday night. And me, you and Ian streamed on Monday. We all said we'd be pretty surprised if he missed out, because it's not like Bruno to miss out through injury. He does have the Euros coming up this summer. He does have an FA Cup semi-final. And maybe he's sort of gone, I'm not risking anything with those two things in mind. But I'd still expect him back this weekend, right?
Well, I mean, he must actually be hurt this time, right? It must actually be too much risk attached to it. So if they've taken him out the firing line and he's agreed to it, then who knows what we're going to be getting. Is Ten Hag going to give a clear answer one way or the other? I doubt it. And also, you know, to get a clear picture of whether he's going to be fit enough for both games is another thing, isn't it? I mean, if he's not managed to play that game the other day, the chance of him playing 2 sets of 90 minutes across the space of 3 days, whatever it is, seems pretty slim to me. But obviously, they're massive matches in Man United's season. Ten Hag's sitting there on the verge of Man United's worst ever Premier League finish. So it's going to be risky either way. I mean, the only Man United asset I've got is Garnacho, to be honest. And I'll probably just roll with that. I'm going to be a bench boost, so I'm quite happy to have Garnacho playing. Luke actually says Garnacho or Saka to Foden. I mean, that's an interesting dilemma. Obviously, Saka just has a single and Garnacho has a double. But obviously, you want to get to Phil Foden if you can this week. What do you reckon? What's more valuable, a Saka single or a Garnacho double?
I think a Saka single is. When you also bear in mind, and sorry if the noise background might not be great, so I'll keep muting myself when Dean's talking. The gardeners come around a bit.
Don't worry.
I think when you look at the game week 38 fixture as well, it's Saka all day long, because you're going to have Garnacho going away to Brighton for United on the final day versus Saka, who's at home to Everton. And that Arsenal game week 38 fixture, I think, has got massive ceiling. Like, the title will probably be out there at their hands by then. Let's assume Man City keep winning. The pressure will be off Arsenal, but they'll know they still have to win. And I remember last season, I brought Gabi Jesus in on a game week 38 punt because, again, the title was lost. They've had Wolves at home, and they went and scored 4 or 5 goals. And I think against Everton, who will have nothing to play for, again, Arsenal in game week 38, the likes of Havertz, the likes of Saka are brilliant. And then I look at game week 37 and I go, it's a single game week for these guys, but it's a single game week against Man United. Is there a worse? There's probably 2 or 3 worse defenses in the league right now than Man United, but they're probably bottom 3. In terms of shots conceded, XG conceded. So Arsenal attack this week in a single game week is still a good shout.
Yeah, it is. And you fancy that they're going to get at them. As we say, week after week, the problem is you don't know where Arsenal's attacking points are coming from. And Saka, while he's had a good season, I don't think he's been, from an FPL point of view, undroppable. I've got him in my team at the moment, Saka, and I'm wondering whether I swap him out for someone like Gordon, who's got a double. So we'll get onto that in a bit when we go through our teams. Let's go through a couple of questions while we're here. Sigurd says, I've got no chips, but got 8 doublers. Can only play 7. I've got Son, KDB, Foden, Gordon, Palmer, Nicholas Jackson, Haaland, Isak, 3 Arsenal defenders and a free transfer. Should I wait until next week to get Mo Salah? It's a tough fixture for Liverpool this week, going to Aston Villa. Obviously, Villa have had the disappointment of going out of Europe, but they're on the verge of clinching 4th spot in the Premier League, getting that Champions League position. Typically, across this season, it's been a tough place for people to go to Villa Park and get anything. But Liverpool have won more away league games via Aston Villa than they have against any other team. So there's that to bear in mind. Salah has scored and assisted in 4 different league games this season. Only Cole Palmer has a better record in that sense. So this is a difficult one to weigh up. I thought I had one more stat actually on that Aston Villa game. I'll try. Oh, here it is. The last 4 meetings between Villa and Liverpool at Villa Park in all comps has seen the scoring opened within the first 5 minutes of the match. So this is a game which could be defined very early as well. Historically, that's what's happened. It's a Monday night game. I think you can go without Salah this game week for sure. I think that the last one of the season is when you want him for that home fixture. So if you haven't got him right now, I personally don't think you need to be buying him.
Yeah, Man City still should be the focus if you've got a spare midfield slot. For me, a Nuclear says about maybe swapping out a Saka for a KDB, and still there's managers without Foden. I look at Man City this game week and think, get triple City. If you don't have a defender you've got a defensive spot, then Gvardiol's obvious. But for those that can go triple City attack, no doubt that comes with the highest ceiling this week. It's the City mids and then Richarlison. I guess Richarlison is the other one. Let's talk City mids first, Dean, and then move on to Richarlison because they play Fulham. Are you going to go to the game? Have you decided yet?
I'm not going. No. I've decided I'm probably going to put
potential to be a big score, right?
Yeah, I put my family first for this one, my little boy's birthday. So I figure I'll stay here. My mate's going to have my ticket for this one. I mean, look, Fulham's record against Man City is atrocious. Man City have won the last 15 games against us. It's the joint longest winning run that any team has against another team in English football history, right? We have never, ever figured out how to come close to this Manchester City team. They absolutely battered us earlier in the season. Was it 5-1? Haaland got a hat-trick. Haaland has scored 5 goals in the 3 games that he's played against Fulham altogether. This is a fixture which, even as a Fulham fan, is very difficult to accept is about to happen. Fulham, we're not in good form. We've won just one of the last 7 league games. Even at Craven Cottage, where we've been pretty good across the season, winless in the last 3. There was a video in midweek of the players flying kites in training. I mean, look, I'll be honest with you. I'm I'm not fussed by it. I mean, what can Fulham really? It's quite nice to see the lads relaxed at this stage of the season, to be honest, to be safe and to be able to fly kites at this time of the season. I'm perfectly happy with it as a Fulham fan. And any preparation that we've ever tried before with Man City hasn't worked. So maybe just let the lads chill out and just see what they can do on Saturday lunchtime.
It's probably outside. It's clearly outside of like footballing training hours anyway. Like that could happen in August or September, and it shouldn't be they're on the beach because they're flying kites. Like it's just a piece of land that they're using outside of training hours. There's nothing wrong with that. And it's not like Chelsea years ago with John Terry and Ashley Cole shooting the academy kids with like a pistol.
No, it's not. It's nothing like that. But as when I was a tabloid reporter, that would be 100% the pun that I would be looking to play on for the intro of the match. Whatever way you can come up with some sort of kite flying,
like plain sailing in a Fulham win.
Exactly, mate. Like that's exactly the way that everyone's going to be approaching this Man City win. We've surprised a few teams this season. We've beaten Arsenal this season at home. It's not impossible that we do this. Marco Silva is a good manager. On our day, we can come up with good performances. But, there's obviously no actual logic towards backing Fulham in this fixture. Tosin not playing, it means that Issa Diop is going to be playing at the heart of Fulham's defence. Calvin Bassey, really good defender. Issa Diop, an okay defender, right? Without that Tosin-Bassey combination, I mean, Tosin had gone off I don't mind that he's not playing now. I mean, the last 2 games he played for us, his head wasn't in it. He was making mistakes, so it's fine that he's going. But, yeah, there's just not real belief that this Man City team aren't going to eat up chances.
Mark's beating me to it. I was going to say, so he said Fulham players aren't as high as kites. I was thinking a headline, if Grealish scores the winner, Grealish high as a kite off the back of his laughing gas scandal during lockdown.
Grealish was high as a kite as Man City went back to the top of the Premier League.
Any other puns for City versus Fulham based on kites, do let us know. Got burnt on KDB captain last week, says Sean.
A lot of people did.
5 goals because Haaland got the 4. I think there was a 5th goal. Foden got an assist. Only 1 return for Foden in that fixture, but no returns for Haaland, which was pretty rare when City score 5 and KDB's on the pitch. You expect something. You could double down, Sean. I still think Haaland is the obvious captaincy candidate. We'll talk captaincy later in the show. We'll move on to Richarlison now because he's the community pick this week. He's proper differential. He's only like...
He really is. Everyone is picking him.
Every content creator is looking at Richarlison, and I get it because many of these content creators owned him 10, 15 weeks ago during the Asia Cup, and he did so well for them. When he's fit, when he's playing number 9, he's an out-of-position midfielder. What is he, 6.6 million or whatever he is? Playing as the number 9. And his cameo versus Liverpool saw action. Like, he played 29 minutes. He got a goal and an assist. When Son and Richarlison are on the pitch together, actually hasn't happened a massive amount this season with Son on the left and Richarlison as the 9 together on the pitch, because earlier in the season Son was playing so well down the middle. When Richarlison started to get minutes, he actually moved Richarlison out wide. We're not going to see that, but I do get it because that Burnley fixture is probably, from all the teams doubling, Newcastle, City, Chelsea, Spurs, Brighton, it's Spurs who have the single best game. They have Burnley at home. So that does come with the highest ceiling. Although you could argue the Man City and the Newcastle games, and maybe even the Chelsea ones, the way those 3 teams are playing and scoring goals, maybe we should look at form over fixture and go, actually, Chelsea, Newcastle, City are the reliable sources of goals here, not Spurs, just because the fixture's good. Spurs have been dreadful.
Yeah, they have been dreadful. I mean, they've lost their last 4 league games. Postecoglou would be the first manager to lose 5 in a row for Tottenham since 1994. That's how bad this run is that he's on. All that success of the first part of the season has been tarnished recently. But of course, Burnley will be relegated if they fail to win this game. And I don't know which way I look at that. Is it, okay, well, this is your chance, extra motivation for Tottenham to condemn a team to the Championship, or is it motivation to Burnley to actually produce a surprise win? One thing to bear in mind with Son, loves playing against Burnley. 8 goals in his last 6 against them. 8 goal contributions, 5 goals, 3 assists. He got a hat-trick in the reverse fixture. He's back in a more support position rather as the main man probably for this one. I mean, I've got Son, and I'm very happy to have him. And I don't think I'm going to actually. I don't know. I say I don't think I'm going Richarlison. That's a bit far. I haven't decided yet, but I'm not definitely going Richarlison. I'm not definitely getting him in.
I'm looking at maybe if I do it, going for both, because I'd be selling Bruno to Richarlison, but then I have to sell a Spurs defender. And Spurs, surely, I mean, Nuclear says even Burnley can score against Spurs. Of course they can. And Burnley play good football. They will get chances. Can we bank on a Spurs clean sheet? No, but I do think we've got a good chance of one against Burnley. But then you get minus points for your defenders against Man City.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's just shout out Chris Crimmins, who's been very kind to give us a $5 on a day when you're sat there living the life in Italy. So that's very nice of him. I'll take that $5.
This Airbnb, Chris. Thank you, mate. I'm cheap.
Yeah, he says, loving the show. Thank you, Chris. On a free hit this week with no obvious defensive options plus a lot of attacking options. What's your view? What score? Oh, Gordon, Richarlison plus Gvardiol versus KDB and Dunk. Where would you be going on that one, mate?
It's so tough on free hit because there's way more than 8 or 7 attackers you want to go for. I would have Richarlison and Son in a free hit team, and I probably would have a way of getting De Bruyne and Foden. That's 4 of your attacking slots before we even look at Isak and Palmer and Jackson. I think defenders, if you're going KDB, Foden and Haaland, you can't go Gvardiol. If you could perhaps sacrifice Gordon, and with that you could maybe go double Newcastle defence with Isak, because there isn't many defenders to go for. I don't mind Dunk as a free hit option, to be fair. There's goal threat with Lewis Dunk, although I don't expect a clean sheet. They play Newcastle and Chelsea. Newcastle's defence has been much improved of late, so you could look at like a Livramento and Burn combination, for example, Chris. But yeah, chase the upside where possible. And I do think Richarlison gives you that with Son, and I do think De Bruyne gives you that with Foden, and that's 4 of your slots. And then you put 2 Chelsea, that's 6, and then Haaland makes it 7. Yeah, that would mean no Isak though.
No Isak, yeah, exactly.
You've got to have Isak, so maybe you do sacrifice a Man City mid and go Gvardiol.
Yeah, I think there does have to be some sacrifice around a Man City midfielder. I mean, I feel like I'm on the wrong one. I've got De Bruyne, but I'm going to stick. Like, you never know when De Bruyne is going to turn up. There's no point even second guessing which of those 2 is actually going to turn out. I think there's more probability towards Foden, but I'm absolutely not betting against De Bruyne. I mean, Fulham do give away a lot of free kicks because of João Palhinha and the way that he gives away free kicks. Other teams get a lot of opportunities. Think of that one that Trent scored for Liverpool against Craven Cottage not so long ago, top corner. We give away a lot of free kicks in the area of the pitch. It's because Palhinha has this horrendous yellow card record, and he just fouls people a lot. But that's because he puts in so many tackles. It's just a law of averages. But De Bruyne, from that perspective, I'm wondering, could be good as well. So that is very interesting. On where was the stat that I just had? I'll find it in a second. Go.
Yeah, no, Nuclear says about Pope being in training and Trippier could be back. Like, these guys will probably feature by the end of the season, but when you've been out for so long, Trippier does not come back in to the starting 11 and play 180 minutes in the double game week. Like, he is going to get a cameo, or he's going to play one and not the other. So guys looking at Trippier, I wouldn't recommend this week at all by any stretch. He was only doing training in Dubai about 10 days ago. Like, he's not even back with the first team for a while. And Nick Pope, he'll want to get minutes because he'll want to get in the Euros squad for England. But again, we might not see that till Game Week 38 or Game Week 37, Game 2. But I would, of course, be avoiding Dubravka with that in mind.
Yeah. Newcastle likely to sign Aaron Ramsdale, by the way, I was told yesterday. Very high chance Aaron Ramsdale. Nick Pope will be leaving Newcastle in the summer, and they'll be signing Aaron Ramsdale. That's what I was told yesterday.
I'll take Pope at Chelsea, please.
You're going after Emi Martinez at the moment as well, but yeah, we'll see what the goalkeeper dominoes ends up. The one Newcastle player that I haven't got that I really wish I had at the moment is Anthony Gordon. Been involved in more home goals than any Newcastle player in the Premier League this season. He's got 9 goals and 7 assists at home this season, Anthony Gordon. He's obviously got this fixture against Brighton at the weekend. He's actually got the most goal contributions for a Newcastle player, any Newcastle player, since Alan Shearer in 2004. That's how good a run Anthony Gordon is actually on. And I'm finding it very painful to not have him, especially known as the away game they've got is Man United, which, to be honest, I kind of expected Newcastle to win. So, again, I've got Saka in my team, but I think I need to get rid of Saka to get an asset like this.
Oh, that's tough. I mean,
it is tough, yeah.
You're right about the fixtures for Gordon, though. I didn't realise the Brighton game was at home off the top of my head without looking. I thought that Brighton fixture was away. And Anthony Gordon's record at home is nothing short of sensational. Lewis makes a good point. How is he not nominated for Young Player of the Year? That is an outrage. Like, him and Palmer, for me, have been sort of level pegging. They've both been sort of talisman for their teams, best players for their teams. Palmer rightly is getting a lot of love, but has been on penalties this season and has scored a lot of penalties. And Palmer's open play numbers aren't that of Gordon's. I think they're both great players. It was Gordon that won Player of the Tournament at the Euros, which Palmer played in last summer. And they're pretty much level pegging, different types of players, similar positions, but similar talent levels. And Gordon's not spoken about in the same way, is he?
No, he's absolutely not. It's very unfair, really. Anthony Gordon just never gets the credit that he deserves.
Is it because he looks like Claire Balding?
I knew you were about to make a sarcastic comment about him. I don't know what it is. I really don't.
Did you see the clip on the overlap with Neville where he said he visualizes, like, his prep for games is so is so thorough, and he kind of goes through the motions what a game could look like 24, 48 hours before, and he visualizes who he's playing up against, how he's going to take them on, how he's going to beat them to get shots on goal and score goals. And Neville was blown away by that. He was like, "Whoa, I didn't realize footballers still did that. Like, I didn't think that was a modern day footballer thing." They just told it to the coaches. He was like, "Back in my day, sure, you'd get those absolute pros that went through that, but Gordon impressed Neville a lot by those comments."
Yeah, I know that a lot of teams have kind of reintroduced those sorts of mental experts that do help them with visualization and stuff. It has become a trend again, and so it should. I mean, that's something that doesn't change no matter what era of football we're playing. To be able to imagine yourself in scenarios and up against people, and when that ball falls to you there, and even like imagining what kit the other team is going to be wearing, like it does make an impact on you when you get into those situations. FPL Freddy asked why I'm not going to sell Garnacho. Well, the thing is with Garnacho, he's like 4.9 million, 4.9 million. He doesn't really help me get to the players that I want to get to. So that's the dilemma I've got in terms of Saka, who's 9 million and does actually open the door for a good doubler. Off course says, want to thank you for the season and the videos. Dean, Gianni, Big Men, and all the guests have been a joy to watch. This is a thanks to all you chasers too. Oh, thank you, Off Core. And yeah, thanks to all of you for turning up consistently throughout 37 game weeks to be here with us. We will be back next season. We can confirm that we will be back for another season. Thanks to your support. We do want to grow. And next week. But yeah, we are not going anywhere else. Next week's not the last show, you'll all be pleased to know. So thank you, Off Core, and we do appreciate it. And we're so grateful for you all that we're going to do another season. So that'll be fun. And yeah, I won't be doing it from England either. So we'll be figuring out how the future pans out time-wise, but I mean, it's been all over the place this season. We probably should find a bit more consistency.
Yeah. We'll definitely at the start of the season where we'll have that regular slot, because we know you guys like to know time and a place. And we started this season with 7 p.m s. And I think if you look on our Twitter handle, it says Chasing Green Arrows every Monday and Friday, 7 p.m. So
we might have to go back to that, because that would be like 11 a.m. for me in the future, and it'll still be 7 p.m. for you. So you'll have the arguments to have over who's doing bedtime, but that'll be
or if we do 6 p.m, maybe I can still do bedtime.
6 p.m, that's true. I could do 10 a.m. You're right. Sigurd's come in with a lovely little message. Love your podcast. Was it 3.5 mil when I started watching? Wow. I'm in a mini league for money, playing in semi-finals, have 80 transfers. I will play different next year and have chips for end game. Thanks for a good podcast. Mate, thank you so much. Yeah, I could still win potentially some money too this season. I'm fourth in my mini league. I'm chasing down the guys that are second and third. I'm 10 points away from the guy that is third. I'm 25 points away from the guy who is second. And so when I'm looking at transfers, this is part of my thing now. Like I'm not overall rank, like at this point where I'm like, what, 500,000? Doesn't really matter at this point. I want to upset some of my mates. So I'm looking at their teams. The guy who's second, he has Foden, who I don't have. But then he has Palmer, Saka, De Bruyne, who I have. And he has Garnacho, actually. I didn't realize he had Garnacho on the bench. I presume he's playing bench boost. So again, this is why if I get out Saka, I can't see him getting Saka out.
Nah, he's holding Saka.
He'll hold Saka.
Unless he feels like he needs a Gordon like you. But I do think Gordon and Garnacho are close enough in price to maybe make that Garnacho to Gordon transfer work with a hit elsewhere.
Yeah, possibly. I'll look at my team when we get it on the screen in a minute. But yeah, we'll look at that.
Love the fact that Offcore and Sigurd contributing with super chats, guys, without direct questions. If you do have any questions about FPL, Sigurd or Offcore, do let us know. And as Offcore says, just hit that like button, team. That'd be awesome. And don't forget to subscribe, because people forget that they're not subscribed.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure you do that. Lyle, I will be in California. ISG says you guys need to do a live meetup show before Dean travels across the world. Yeah, I mean, FPL Chai has been on the show like 5 times, and G's already met him, introduced his family to him, and I've been speaking to G on this show for 2 full seasons now.
Yeah, did we start? I can't remember if we started at the start of a season or not. I was trying to think about this the other day. Did we start in August?
Honestly, I don't know if it was the start of the last season, but I think it was. I think Chasing Green Arrows started up at the end of the season before as a more general show, and they used to get loads of random guests on. And then for some reason, they picked me and you to do a regular show.
Yeah.
And
Fabrizio Romano, mate.
Fabrizio Romano, yeah, and all of that jazz. But Fabrizio, the tapping merchant himself, just couldn't come up with this sort of content. So
yeah, could do an hour without being told what to say. Good questions coming in. Should I sell Saka or Bruno to get Foden? I'd be selling Bruno. I think I have Bruno, and there's a chance I hold Bruno. But given United's form and given United's fixtures, Arsenal and Newcastle, they'll both fancy a win. Like I fully expect Arsenal to beat United at Old Trafford, and I think I fully expect Newcastle to beat United at Old Trafford. It is 2 games at Old Trafford. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing for Man United at the moment. Going on the road with a bit less pressure might actually play into their favour. I don't know if United go 1-0 down at Old Trafford and the attack philosophy is still there, they could just get absolutely torn apart. I mean, what do you make of United's recent form, Dean? And also, just want to get your nod on kind of speculation over Ten Hag, because I know the stories coming out have been that he'll be there another season, but as the days go on and the defeats stack up, it feels increasingly likely that he's going to leave, right?
It's such a difficult one to call, and anyone that says that they know at the moment is guessing.
Yeah. Do you think United know?
I don't think they know. I think they want to stick with him. I genuinely do think they want to stick with him, and it's become really complicated because of how bad things have got. Their underlying feeling, I've got a couple of good contacts who speak to people in the inner circle, and they have such sympathy for the fact that he has had such a defensive nightmare, right? They're like, no manager could have coped with this. Like, you couldn't have seen this coming. And that, combined with the mess he's had over, whether it's, I personally think he played a massive part in the debacle around Jadon Sancho. But if they would say, look, Mason Greenwood, Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford, all these kind of storylines ongoing in the background, plus being unsettled by the fact there was a mini takeover going over in the sense that Ineos were coming in. It's been a hard environment to work in, is their empathetic view. But, of course, more than anything, it doesn't even really matter about results right now. They need to know that they have a coach who is going to carry out their vision. And anyone that speaks to Ratcliffe or Brailsford or anyone like that says, like, you have to understand their vision and philosophy, and being a good communicator, being a guy that can get onto the players' level, being a guy that can coach this team to get through situations is the most integral thing right now. I don't know if Ten Hag's got that. I don't know that he is a good communicator. I don't know that he can coach this team. You know, Jamie Carragher's just said he's one of the worst. They're one of the worst coached teams in the league, and it's hard not to agree with him because the best moments of their season have been emotional, have been driven by moments. So it's really difficult. Sorry, the Anthony allegations as well. I'd forgotten about that one. I mean, there's been so many subplots in there. Casemiro, Casemiro's absolutely shot. But obviously, there's just no obvious candidate to replace Ten Hag. So, like Gareth Southgate, genuinely, like this is not a rumor.
Oh my God, please happen. My two least favorite things in football: Man United and Southgate.
Well, like. If you think like Tuchel is pushing himself into that job, Hansi Flick is trying to push himself into that job. Graham Potter's kind of in between. He has got some sort of chance. But Gareth Southgate, if Ten Hag goes, my personal feeling would be that Southgate would be their top choice. And I don't think Gareth Southgate is the answer to what Man United need. Mate, your background is so annoying right now. It looks so beautiful.
The lighting's better here. So
it looks like a fake backdrop. It looks like you got a green screen on.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. I have thought about getting a green screen, but yeah, maybe I don't need to. Yeah, mate, it's good to know that Southgate story isn't just clickbait, because obviously it is a very good headline. It's the England manager and the Man United manager, like they're two of the biggest jobs in football, and it's like this one guy that hasn't won anything but has been sort of lauded, but then. Well, he's Marmite. He does split people for a character that's pretty still and steady. He divides the footballing world, I think, Southgate.
I mean, you know, what they would argue is like in terms of like how he is quite good at communicating with younger players. He's obviously got a good bond with a lot of the young English players, and that's a direction they want to go in. They want to start getting in a lot younger players. You see the fact they're getting rid of Varane and Casemiro and all this. Their oldest players next season is going to be Bruno Fernandes, who isn't even 30 yet.
Wow.
Like, that's going to be their oldest outfield player next season, if they get rid of Harry Maguire.
Is Varane younger than Bruno, is he? Is Varane not 30?
No, Varane won't be there. Varane won't be there.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So Varane and Casemiro and Maguire, you have to presume won't be there because they're going to look to offload them.
Yeah.
And so, the two oldest outfield players as it stands will be Bruno Fernandes and Victor Lindelof. And that's just not a great position to be in, I don't think. And then bringing Gareth Southgate in as your manager. I don't think there'll be that many Man United fans thinking, this is it. We're on the verge of greatness now.
I've just seen Reece James is likely to be in the squad tomorrow.
Yeah.
So squad tomorrow means cameo possibly the weekend, but if not midweek. And it probably means a game week 38 start, because he's going to want some minutes for the Euros. In game week 38, if we've got the luxury of all these free transfers, do we consider a punt on a Chelsea player? I think it's Bournemouth at home. And Reece James, he's just one of those players, when he is on the pitch, he is FPL gold. No one quite clocks bonus like him at the back. He's got goal threat. He's got huge assist threat. He's got one game just to show that he's fit enough for the Euros. He probably ain't going to play 90, 70, I don't know. If he gets 20, 30 minutes in 37 and he's good for 38 punt, would you look there? I think I would for a 1 week Hail Mary.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely worse shouts to go for, isn't there? He'll be so motivated to do well in that game week if he gets an nod. I'll try and get a steer on that. As I say, I know someone very close to Reece, so before game week 38, I'll get a steer from my mate as to whether he thinks Reece is playing in that game, and if he's confident that he is, then maybe we go there.
Chat do not like it. Freddie, James has no chance of being in the England squad. Mark wouldn't touch James in FPL or for England. Lewis, Gianni wanted him to get burnt by James one last time. On the other hand, if I want to ruin my progress,
yeah, there you go.
Do you think he'll make the England squad, Dean?
I don't know. It is very late in the day, isn't it? I mean, the fact it is a 26-man squad now means you can be a bit more risky. If this was a normal season for Reece James, he would have been one of the first names on the list. So we have to remember that. There's still a chance. There's still a chance. I mean, people keep saying to me, "Oh, surely Conor Gallagher's got a chance of going." It's like Conor Gallagher hasn't got a chance of going. Conor Gallagher is going. Like Conor Gallagher,
the last few squads he's been in, he's started games.
Gareth Southgate loves him. Like, and you got to look at,
works hard.
Loyalty counts for a lot. Like when Jadon Sancho had that good game last week, suddenly everyone's like, "Oh, could Jadon Sancho play his way?" No, he can't. Jadon Sancho cannot play his way in right now. Even Cole Palmer is struggling to get into that team, and Cole Palmer needs to be in that team. So, of course, says I can beat Gianni's location. I'm mansion sitting currently. How do you get to a role where you're mansion sitting? I like that. I like that. Yeah,
send me your links off core. I want to know how you got into that.
Yeah, I'm going to say it might be the only job better than Gianni's out there.
Shall we have a look at our teams? Because we'll have lots of time for questions. We're still going to react to see if there's any breaking news in terms of press conferences. Yeah. But let's see how we're setting up for the game week to come, because many are on bench boost. Dean, just remind us, chip-wise, you're done?
No, I've got bench boost, yeah. So I've got bench boost
this week, and then that's it next week.
Bench boost and then done. As I say, like I'm fully focused now on getting up the ranks of my mini league. It's not impossible that I could win the mini league. It's not impossible. I'm 45 points off of the leader. He is a good player. So, but he's really slowed down in the last couple of games. He's had a couple of very average game weeks, which was very surprising. So if I had a worldy couple of weeks, if I could make a couple of picks that are a bit different and they pay off, I could yet win it. But I'm going to rule that out for now. I'm going to say like second is my aim.
Game week as well. Like it just brings optimism for higher upside, for greater chances of getting lucky. 15 players playing twice is 30 appearances. That's more than 2 normal game weeks, which would be 22 appearances, right? So this week is huge for swings, potentially.
Offcore has got the most ridiculous story here. I love it. It's through selling my paintings. It's a person who wants to support my journey while I feed his buzzards while he's on holiday.
Offcore, we need pictures. Offcore, though, I am keen to know more about your artwork and paintings. And Offcore did speak to me on DM, and we next season on Chasing Green Arrows or on my channel, we're going to do some promotion for Offcore's work.
Yeah, do you know what I want actually for next season? I don't know that we're going to get a whole merchandise range, but if we could have a t-shirt or a mug and Offcore could design something cool, perhaps we can get some printed up. Like certainly for like me and you to wear on the show, and then a few people, maybe we print off a few or something, and we can start to either sell them or dish them out, whichever way people want to go with it. You either win them or you buy them. I don't care.
Yeah.
That could be cool.
You can have your shop, can't you? You can have a shop on YouTube where
on YouTube, can you?
You can click, yeah.
Oh, like right,
Mr. does it with t-shirts and stuff. Even FPL Juice, I know, do it. So yeah, we should definitely do that.
That'd be great. Offcore, let us know if you've got some fancy ideas for some cool t-shirts. I could definitely imagine me walking along a San Diego beach wearing a really cool CGA t-shirt, limited edition merch. Yeah, exactly, ISG. J Bain Art is my Instagram and Facebook. Okay, cool. I'm going to give that a follow right now. We've totally gone off piece here. If you want to stick up my team, then we can actually get back to what we're supposed to be talking about, which is figuring out how I can come second and make up 25 points to get into that team. Sorry about the graphic here. We only just sent in our team literally just as we were coming up onto the show. But
so who are your single game weekers, Dean, for bench boost? Because they're the ones you'll use transfer.
The problem is I've got quite a few singles. So my singlers are Raya, Gabriel, Anderson, Saka. So my first 11, they're the 4 singlers. And on the bench, Aït-Nouri and Zabanyi. And Kelleher as well, to be fair. I've been completely overlooking Kelleher. But like, for example, Kelleher could become Petrovic. and play a double. And Keller's definitely not playing, right?
Yeah, you're going to get 4 points from Petrovic just through appearance.
Yeah, so I'm like, well, I could literally just change that and get the points back through Petrovic just playing.
Yeah,
So
I'd be happy taking sort of -8s or 12s this week just from appearance points.
Would you? I was going to say to you, how deep do I go? Like, at what point does that actually become negative in terms of delving in and making sure you're making it up with appearance points?
The problem with the defender ones is you don't definitely make it up, because the defenders that you buy in this game week, no one's guaranteed for clean sheets other than probably Man City from the doublers. You haven't got like Newcastle, Chelsea, Spurs. Yeah, maybe you could take a punt and hope they net more than 4, but there's no guarantee they net more than 4.
Yeah.
And obviously, some of your defenders like Aït-Nouri, Zabani, even Anderson, like they could be guys that go and get a clean sheet and 6 points anyway. They're not bad single game weekers to have. The goalkeeper clearly, and then maybe I'd be tempted on keeping an Aït-Nouri, and then maybe a Zabani or an Anderson, one of them goes.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair. So yeah, that makes sense
You
to
could buy
me.
Newcastle defenders though. That's the beauty of it, because Newcastle defenders are cheap, and you don't have Gordon, but you could swap Anderson and Zabani, for example, with 2 Newcastle defenders, Burn and Livramento, and then you've got yourself. I don't know. Do you fancy Newcastle for a clean sheet? I do. I think they could get one.
Do you? Yeah, I fancy one. Yeah. Yeah, Brighton and Man United. You would believe that there's at least a possibility there that they can get they can get a clean sheet. Lewis thinks I should go Kelleher and Zabani to Petrovic and Burn. FPL Freddy says punt on a Wilson if you can get funds. Even Callum Wilson. Callum Wilson could be joining
the season. Mateta for Palace.
Who? Sorry,
Mateta in the week.
Mateta. Yeah. I'm not getting rid of Mateta.
Yeah, again, even Saka, mate. I'm like, oh, it's just a good single game week asset. I'd keep Mateta and Saka in place and just focus on your defenders.
Yeah, literally the only reason I would get rid of Saka would be a really risky play to try and catch these people above me in the league. Because if Saka doesn't score in that game, and say I have Gordon and he returns in both matches, I've made up massive ground. But obviously that is a risk because Saka's pretty likely to score in that game. But is he going to score more than one? That's quite a good point. Like, no.
I don't know. It could be a mauling. United are so on the ropes.
I'm going to look this up, but when did Saka last score more than one goal?
He got a couple of, well, I don't know if it was more than one goal, but he got a couple of returns a week or two ago. He double returned,
yeah. But in terms of...
And then game week 38, he could go and get 2 because that's a great fixture. I don't think you want to... Have you got any money in the bank to be able to get to a Gordon from a Garnacho?
I don't think so. Yeah, it's not a lot. 0.9. I've got 0.9.
If you could get to Garnacho to Anthony, but then to Anthony Gordon, but then I'm thinking from your goalkeepers, and defenders, you're not making money there. Like Kelleher to a keepers, you need money. Zabani and Anderson to Newcastle defenders, they're around the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Lungani makes a good point. 1 Saka goal equals 10 points. It's not always the case, but he does do well in the bonus. So when he scores, he has a chance of getting those 3 bonus. So it's not a 5-point goal. It can be an 8-point goal or a 7-point goal.
Okay, that's cool. People are still asking off-core about this job of babysitting vultures.
Buzzards, vultures.
Well, no, it says buzzards and vultures. Absolutely.
What does a buzzard look like? I'm gonna have to Google a buzzard.
Aren't they massive?
Aren't they like got the big beaks? Aren't they like a bird of prey, buzzards, or not?
Let's have a look.
Wow, yeah, it looks like a falcon or a hawk, like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm used in my garden at the moment. I'm feeding starlings, pigeons, and robins. That's it. Yeah, occasionally I might get a blue tip pop in for a few seeds.
Oh, exciting!
That's about as exciting as my garden gets. So I'm actually really interested in this bird talk, and also really interested in the artwork that I'm seeing on J Bain Art. This is really cool.
Oh, really? I've not seen it yet.
I really like it. Like, there's definitely some scope here for a collab. So I'm definitely intrigued. Of course, sorry, back to FPL. Last bit, I've been feeding them chicks. Oh.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I don't know if I could do that. Oh.
What, like eggs?
What, are they alive?
Oh.
Anyway, Amar says, is Gusto still safe? Is Gusto still safe? Yeah.
Gusto
this
still
week
hasn't played, has he? So he played Gilchrist right back, and then I think Gilchrist got injured, and he played Chalobah right back. So Gusto, we haven't seen.
Yeah, this week, I don't know. I've seen a lot of people suggesting picking him.
Yeah,
but you're right. Yeah, Chalobah's done all right, hasn't he?
Mate, the header was fantastic, and he's playing well at centre back or right back. Like, there's no need to rush Gusto. He ain't getting in the front squad in the Euros. Unfortunately, he missed out on the last squad. They called him up to the under-21s, which I thought was interesting, because I think he's a great player. But if Gusto's fit, he ain't getting 180 minutes. Again, it's like players that have just come back from a while out aren't going to be rushed to play Saturday, Tuesday, or Sunday, Wednesday. I don't think. There'll be 3 games in a week, effectively. J Bain Art, by the way, on Insta. J Bain Art, all one word. Gusto was subbed on for the last game for 7 minutes. So there we go. He did get a couple of mins. Just read the state that James is back. Yes, Amar, maybe a 38-week punt. We're looking at Dean's team. He's got bench boost left. He's got loads of singlers. Dean, if I was to push you on how many transfers, have you got 1 or 2 frees?
1 free.
So you're going to make a goalkeeper transfer and probably 2 defensive moves.
Yes, I'm making 3 transfers. So I'm going to do 1 free transfer because I feel like because of this Kelleher to Petrovic thing I'm going to do, it just feels fine. And I'm not worried about that. So because of that, I'm going to go for 3 transfers. Yeah. And
you can't go to a Newcastle goalkeeper, innit? But you just can't with Pope.
Yeah, just can't. It's too risky. So yeah, there's still a thing at the back of my head. It's like I need Gordon, but I'm probably not going to be able to figure that out. So it's going to end up being 2 defenders. Anderson and Zabani, something like that will be going. So yeah, I'll be at a good place. I will update my team straight after this show probably, and I'll post it on my Instagram if anyone wants to look at it before deadline.
Like that. About Dean's Insta stories. My team is... Because I've just wildcarded, it's well set for the doubles. But as always is the case, you get injuries and you get things that come up. And you can have these great concrete plans, but it's why in FPL you've got to always remain flexible. The one error I made on wildcard was I didn't leave a spare Spurs slot available. I chased the idea that Spurs doubled in 35? I went triple Spurs. But by having triple Spurs, I now can't make the Bruno to Richarlison switch if I need to today. To do that, I have to sell a Spurs asset. And I don't really want to sell Vicario or Porro because for the doublers, they've got as good a chance of, they've got a chance of getting a clean sheet against Burnley. But if I do feel the need to get Richarlison, who is the midfielder I would most like to replace Bruno with, if Bruno's injured. If Bruno's not injured, I'll probably keep Bruno. If he is injured, I'll go Richarlison in. I'll probably sell Vicario to Onana, which sounds mental. I wouldn't touch United defenders, but Onana will get save points. He's going to be busy. He's going to be busy.
He will.
And I can't see who I would sell Porro for. I can't sell him for a City player. I can't sell him for a Chelsea or a Newcastle player. And I can't sell him for a Brighton player because I've got to sell Maguire. So Maguire will go to a Brighton defender. So again, I'll be looking like I'm going to take a -4. I've got 2 frees, the 3rd transfer. Or if Bruno's fine, I just sell Maguire. Dean, the only team doubling that I'm not invested in is Brighton. I've got triple of all the others. Do I go and buy a Brighton defender?
Who do you...
I think, Webster and Igor are 4.2 and 4.3.
Yeah, I mean, there's value there. And
I've got the money to go up to a dunk, but I might want to save that for next week.
Yeah, I'd save it's probably like I just
Dunk's
don't
next
feel...
million. Like,
yeah, just the upside of Brighton is just unknown. They've been so.
They're one of the most inconsistent teams in the league.
I'm going to say I was trying to describe them and I can't. But yeah, you're right. Exactly that. They are one of the most inconsistent teams, and that's not really what we expected. We've got a super chat in from Kay. 8 Nuri to Burn for -4. Is that worth it? Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it.
Probably is.
Yeah, probably just about. I mean, 8 Nuri also, as a singular, I'm quite happy to keep him. on my bench because there is upside with it. But to burn over those, considering you've got 3 games left of the season, you're probably going to get that back, so it's probably fine.
It depends if you're starting one of them in 38. In 38, Wolves go to Anfield, so you're definitely not starting Aït-Nouri. If Burn improves your 11 in 38, where he goes to Brentford, then do it. If he doesn't improve your 11 in 38 and he's going to be on the bench, then Aït-Nouri is playing left wing at home. If it was for a -2 or -3, I'd definitely do it. -4, the question for me comes into what you're doing in game week 38. Thank you for the super chat. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, maybe they need to bring in other rules and how many points you want to give up for each transfer.
Yeah, cost associated with each one. Or something.
Yeah, maybe. FPL Rose just joined the chat. Thank you for coming on. Morning to you. We are a bit earlier today, so if you've missed the show, please do rewind, watch it back. We've had a lot of fun. Yeah, very random time. As you can see, G is living the life. So we're all accommodating him today, making sure that he's having a good Friday. And he is. He's in Tuscany. What's been the best thing about Tuscany so far, mate?
It has to. It's the stuff you can see. It's the views. It's the weather. The food's obviously insane.
Did you drink wine?
The wine was good. I had a carafe of wine last night, 500 ml, so not 2/3 of a bottle.
Yeah.
It was the house wine. It was €7. It was so
good.
€7.
That's it, mate. That's where you're at. No hangover because it's good stuff. Yeah. I imagine. Yeah,
honestly, I didn't even go to bed thirsty or have any problem sleeping. It's just great. Just
nice chill. Just a nice chill.
I won't forget how accommodating you've been, Dean. When you moved to San Diego, don't worry, you're building some credit in the bank.
Mate, it's fine. It's 10 o'clock in the morning on a Friday. I've got nothing else to do right now. Lewis says,
how's the news been? I've not had YouTube open. Have people been liking?
Good point. I haven't actually seen how many likes we've got today. We've got 150 in the chat. Let's see if we've actually got any likes. We've got 35 likes. Do give us a like, people. Subscribe if you haven't. We've got 7.3k subscribers. I mean, our aim at the start of next season, we've got to get up to that 10k mark. We've got to push this show. Like, everyone's going to help us. We're going to get there. This show needs to be a 10k subscriber show, no doubt about it. So we're going to push for that start of next season. So we hope you will all help us with that. We might even try some different types of content in pre-season just to try and build the hype. Man United are actually playing in San Diego at the end of July. So maybe I'll take my phone down there and do some hits from outside or something like that. Yeah, they're playing Real Betis at the end of July, and they're playing Arsenal in LA as well, which I might go to.
So they're just doing West Coast. Okay, I saw Palace are in Florida, and there's so many Prem teams are in the US in this summer.
So many are in Florida and stuff. Yeah, West Ham are going to Florida. Yeah, there's a few that are announcing them right now. But yeah, Arsenal are over in the States. So there's a lot going on. It's a busy summer because obviously we got the Euros, we got Copa America, we got transfer. Then everybody's going out to America basically for their pre-season, and the season will be starting. So it's going to be chaos across July. But we will make sure we keep you all in the loop with everything that's going on. Langani says we want FPL Game Week 38 stream of Dean and Gianni drunk. Do you? You sure about that?
I mean, I'm sure it can be arranged. Get me a bottle. We'll have another carafe on 38. Another thing I've always thought we should try is having like a 99p membership option where chasers can be members, and with that unlock extra material from us.
Oh, that's nice. I like that.
Maybe we'll it's something I've been doing on my channel, and it's great. Like, people like the idea of supporting, like we've seen today from the likes of Offcord and Sigurd. Yeah. And £1 a month for extra content is, probably feels like good value.
Yeah, very good.
Thank you guys for your questions. Do get them in. We've still got 10 minutes left of the show. Likes and subscribes, welcome. I've mentioned my transfers. It's likely to be boring. It's Maguire out for a Brighton defender, or if Bruno is out, I will be selling him. Richarlison is top on my list. I'm not going to discard single game week options like Arsenal mids. Like Havertz, I've still got something telling me Havertz goes big against United. He's great in 38, and 38 is key. Likewise, Liverpool mids in 38 will be high demand. Now, Liverpool in 37 don't have the best fixture. They play Villa, but Villa have just come back from Greece on a very long flight. off the back of what was their biggest game of the season, the semi-final defeat against Olympiacos. And I wonder if Liverpool put up a big performance there. We just saw Villa lose to Brighton. They've lost to Olympiacos. They're not in good shape. So Liverpool's single game week options, possible too. They play Monday night, by the way. Speaking of Liverpool, Virgil van Dijk, and we'll answer this question from Spoonfan, was nominated for Premier League Player of the Season. I think it's an absolute joke. Like, it's been one of his worst seasons in a Liverpool shirt, maybe his worst. It's like, oh, we need to put a defender in there. Let's just chuck Van Dijk because he's the best we've got. No, he's not been. He's nowhere near been one of the best centre-backs of the season, in my opinion. KDB to Gvardiol and Richard. Okay, so Van Dijk to KDB. Should I do Van Dijk and KDB to Gvardiol and Richarlison? Yeah, probably. Probably. You get the extra fixture.
Yeah.
I do think they'll score against Liverpool. Do you, Dean?
Yeah, I mean, I think Villa will beat Liverpool personally. Yeah, I mean, obviously they've just had disappointment in the Olympiacos game, and the fact they haven't made it through that side is a bit of a shambles, to be honest with you. But they have had a good season. They won't want to let that filter away now. Unai Emery is too good a coach to let this linger. I think it wouldn't surprise me at all if Villa do manage to get a win there. Can I post links in the chat? Do you know if that works?
I think you can if you're a mod.
All right, because I've done this. People have been asking about this leaks feature that I've been writing. I'm promising for a while. I'm going to try and drop it in there now because it came out last night. Let's see if this works.
Yeah, I just saw Gimme Sport tweeted it as well because obviously you tweeted it and Gimme Sport also did. I think I retweeted it.
Yeah, well, there you go. If you want to copy and paste that in the comments, that is a feature that I've done on. They're all anonymous, but they're some of the leak accounts that you'll all read on a week-to-week basis. And I spoke to a few of them and just got into their minds a little bit about what it's like, how they've ended up in those roles. It was interesting to put together, to be fair. I mean, they're all a little bit cagey, obviously. One of them was a little bit more open, and I, in fact, had to filter it down a bit. I was like, this is so obvious it's you. I'm going to have to change some of these answers. Like, people are going to figure it out. It's like baby reindeer. They'll figure it out in no time.
I don't understand the baby reindeer stuff. What's going on? I've not watched it, and I've seen Piers Morgan's got an interview this morning or something. What is baby reindeer? Who is
baby reindeer? Is a guy. The guy who was actually stalked by someone who's actually made and stars in the documentary and puts across his version of events of being stalked by this lady. And he says that he's protected who that person is, but it's a real version of what happened. Within day one of the Netflix documentary being released, she had been tracked down by people on TikTok and stuff, and they were like, this is who it is. Like, there's no doubt. Like, they were like, this adds up. Look, you can go back on her Facebook here. Look, she did that. And yeah, the documentary came out 2 weeks ago, and she's already had to come out and do a huge interview with Piers Morgan denying all of these things that happened in the documentary. It's a pretty mad documentary.
It's worth watching, is it? Would you recommend it?
I would recommend it because it's weird and it's mad, and it's just very like culturally relevant at the moment because so many people are talking about it. And I think it's interesting as well the way that they've made it. The fact that the guy who got stalked actually is acting his part in it, and he's clearly not like, I don't know. He's had a weird old life, put it that way. And some of the situations he's put himself in aren't very normal, but you got to see it. They're only short half-hour episodes, so it's very easy to get through. It's a drama rather than a documentary. I guess Michael's right. Yeah, it is a drama because they're saying
sounds like he loves the idea of being on screen. Like, who plays themselves? He loves the idea of being stalked too, maybe. I don't know. It sounds
this is it, and this is part of it. Like, it's very interesting when you're watching it because you go through all these things. And yeah, I 100% do recommend that you give it a watch, but just be a bit open-minded about the version of the story that you're watching and how much of it is or isn't true overall. But yeah, I need to watch our interview with Piers Morgan actually to see what happened. That's a big tangent to go off from me saying that here's my team leak feature on Giving Sport.
I guess final FPL question then. I saw some comments in the chat about Callum Wilson.
Yep.
what do we? There was a leak from an ITK source earlier this week being like, hold your moves on Callum Wilson. This is, I think, it might have been the same person that said a while back there was another Newcastle injury that never happened. That Anthony Gordon was out for the season and he played the next game. So hold your horses there. But Callum Wilson, I think, has been pictured in training since, and from what we know is fine. Let's forget his injury status and assume he's fit. Do we like him as a punt? Because we saw in game week 36, Wilson playing down the middle when he started playing wide left. And I didn't think we'd see them starting together. I always thought one or the other was the strongest route. But the way Eddie Howe is experimenting at the moment is the front three of Gordon, Isak and Wilson. And Wilson last season smashed it and Isak didn't. And many went Isak. This season, it's perhaps the other way around. But yeah, maybe Wilson as a differential isn't a bad option. He won't get 80 minutes though, will he?
No, look, it's his last few games in a Newcastle shirt. He'll be leaving in the summer.
Is that almost certain, do you think?
Almost certain. There's even a chance he ends up back at Bournemouth. And actually, what's interesting about it is that Newcastle have some interest in Solanke. So it might even be next season that you see Isak go wide quite often and that, Solanke ends up playing through the middle. Look at G chatting to the locals. We'll let him have his little conversation. But I do think, people, that with Callum Wilson, it's a punt for sure, but Callum Wilson, probably his last few games as a Newcastle player, would be a good punt for this game week. I think G's back in the room.
I am. Hey guys. I guess that's it from us, is it? It's time to say.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, it's gone. We've done the hour, mate. You're free to crack open another carafe or whatever you're going to do for the afternoon. Anything exciting planned?
No, I actually don't. Those afternoon flights are kind of like hanging around, checking out, and then
they're annoying, aren't they?
Prefer to fly back like a lunchtime flight, still in the morning, because otherwise just waste half a day. So no, it's been great chatting with you guys. Do hit the like button and subscribe on your way out. We'll be back next week. We'll have our normal 3 shows, so we'll do like a Monday. I don't even know what the routine will be. The deadline is Sunday next week, but Dean and I are around on Friday as always.
Probably around Friday, yeah. If not, maybe we'll do a Saturday morning, worst case, otherwise. But we'll definitely be doing a show before that game week 38, but we'll be back after this weekend too.
Good stuff. Good luck this game week, guys. May the bench boost be kind to you. If you're free hitting, if you're triple captaining, still huge weeks. Those chips also work this week. Guys, for now, we'll see you next time. He's been Dean, I've been Gianni, and we've been chasing green arrows.